Welcome to this video for the MeacoFan 1056. It's our most popular fan in the range by far. It outsells everything else by about 10 to 1. It's won awards from Which for the best buy, it's won awards from Good Housekeeping, tried and tested, and from Quiet Mark. It's also won awards all over Europe. We're very proud of this fan, and we love the response that we get from our customers and how much you love it as well. So this video is going to show you what you get with the fan if you're thinking about buying it, how to get the best out of it if you've got it, and how to look after it and how to clean it. If you buy direct from the Meaco.com website, then you can get it with this free storage bag to look after it when you're not using it, perhaps over winter. Or if you want to travel with it and you want to be able to carry it and move it around conveniently. It's a really nice strong bag to look after it. If you buy from elsewhere, you can buy these bags separately on Meaco.com. Highly recommend them for looking after the fan, especially over winter. Bespoke bags that are made exactly for the fans are also available for the 650 and the 360 as well. Handle on the top is fake leather, so there is no real leather there in the fan, so this is fine for vegetarians, vegans and anyone who's concerned about animal welfare. It's a really nice touch because it's a nice way to be able to pick the fan up and to move it about. On the rear of the machine there's a plug storage just here on the back, so you can keep it neat and tidy, for example when you've got it within storage. Flick the cover off, we have our power cable, plug that in, you get one beep just to say, yep, I'm alive. You can either control it via the remote control, which lives here in the center, or via the capacitive control panel down the bottom here. So, one touch, that brings the fan alive, and fan speed 1 we're off and running. Now, this fan is ridiculously quiet, but moves a lot of air. So we've got fan speeds 1 to 12. For most operations, you're probably not going to go much above fan speed 3 or fan speed 4. That would be fine. If you're looking to cool a larger space or a larger group of people, then that's where fan speeds 10, 11, 12 really come into play. If I work my way along the control panel, we've got the on-off in the middle, speed next to it, and it just goes up in steps to 12, and then the oscillation buttons for up and down and for left and right. It's the up and down and the left and right that really bring this fan into its own, and that's where you might start to use the higher fan speeds when you start to realize the real potential of this fan. What it can do is it can move a lot of air and bounce that air off the ceiling, off the walls as it oscillates around. That then starts to move all of the air within the room. So instead of your traditional fan where you end up with the fan blowing straight at you and pushing the cooler air into your face, yes, this can do that, but it can do so much more. Because if you start to circulate all of the air within the room, then everybody in the room is going to start to feel cooler. The temperature within the room is going to be a lot more even. And then the air in the room starts to move gently around. You feel nice and comfortable, but you don't have that harsh airflow straight onto you. Especially good within the bedroom at night to help you get a better night's sleep. You can do so with this very quiet fan and the gentle movement of the air within the room. And I think that is why it's such a winner, and so many tens and tens of thousands of people are buying this fan every single year. Also on the control panel here, I'll just stop it oscillating so it's not a moving target for me. We've got an Eco button by here. Now Eco, that's very popular. What that does is it will now automatically change its fan speed depending on what the room temperature is. So now on the display it's showing me the room temperature, which at the moment in here is only 20 degrees C. But as the room temperature increases, it will automatically increase the fan speed, and then vice versa. If the room temperature drops, it will decrease the fan speed for you. So it takes the decision making away from you, and you don't have to worry about remembering to change the fan speed. As it gets hotter, probably even before you realise that you're starting to feel hotter, it will increase the fan speed in order to try and keep you cool. Our next button along is timer off, and I can choose that up to 12 hours, what I want to set it to. So now I've set that to 5. That means it's going to turn off after 5 hours. When it does turn off after 5 hours, it won't bleep. So that's quite important. If you set it, for example, when you go to bed, to turn off after 5 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is you want, because you don't want to wake up feeling too cold in the middle of the night with the fan still going. When it does turn itself off, it won't bleep to confirm, so it's not going to wake you up in the middle of the night with a bleep as it turns itself off. Just a little feature that just makes it a little bit more user-friendly. On the remote control, well, it's a nice round remote control. You probably haven't got any other remote controls that shape within the house, so you're not going to get confused. You're always going to know that this remote control belongs to this fan. And it's got a little magnet on the back, so it's always got a home, and you know where it's going to sit, and you know where you're going to find it. On the remote control itself, as we work our way around, we've got fan speed here, up and down. We've then got light. Now what that light is for is we realise that a lot of customers are going to be using this within the bedroom. So if I press the light, it turns the light off on the control panel. Now notice I had to just press that twice. That was once to wake the machine up to say I'm now doing something, and then once to confirm the action. But now the machine is awake and knows that I'm responding to it to turn the light back on. I only had to press it once. So when you're using it in a nighttime situation, you may be that someone that likes a glow to come from the corner of the room with an electrical appliance. That's great, you can do that. If you're someone that wants total blackout, that's great, you can do that. The choice is yours. The next two buttons on the top are the timer on and the timer off. So the timer off is exactly the same as we just did on the control panel there. Timer on, that purely means that when the fan is turned off, if you use the timer function, that's going to be the number of hours until the machine switches on. There's the Eco button. That's the one whereby it controls the fan speed depending on what the temperature is. And then we've got our oscillation for up and down, left and right. Now if you're using this remote control in the dark, nice little tip to work out where the buttons are. First of all, you've got the dimple on the top for the LED directional infrared remote communication. So that's got to be pointing towards the fan, and that's the top. So when you're feeling around, feel that, you know the orientation of the remote control. The other thing that's going to help you is that the down button for the fan speed has got a little dimple on it. Now that then tells you that that's at the bottom right of the remote, and that's where your speed is. So once I've felt that, I know that I'm on the speed controls. The on-off button's in the middle, and probably at night, that's all you're going to want to do is, can I just put the fan speed up or down? I'm going to turn the fan off, or I'm going to turn the fan on, whatever it may be. But you've got your orientation because the dimple's at the top, and then we've got our fan speed buttons here, and we've got the dimple on the down speed button. And then we know oscillations opposite them as well. So once you understand that, you'll be able to work your way around the remote control in the dark should you need to. Now, in terms of trying to give you a little bit of a demonstration here of how strong the fan speed is, I'll just grab a piece of paper. What have I got to hand? This receipt will be nice and flimsy, so that will work fine. And what I'll do is I'm just going to take it through to take Eco off, and I'm just going to work my way around to fan speed 1. So I have to go up to 12 and then back down to 1. Now I'm going to put that receipt there, and nice gentle breeze coming off it, and you can see how the receipt is reacting. Let's jump up to fan speed 5. You can see the extra shake from the receipt in the breeze. That's fan speed 9. So there is an increase in noise, but it's not particularly noisy. You can see my receipt is moving a lot faster. And fan speed 12. The seat's now becoming a bit harder to keep hold of. It wants to fly away. And we'll let him go. Fan speed 12 is certainly strong enough to be felt from 3 or 4 meters away. And that's why it can move the air off the ceiling, off the walls, and circulate the air within the room. So if you've got it oscillating left and right, up and down, fan speed 12 is going to make a massive difference. So this is a really good fan for use for all sorts of situations. It's the go-to fan for all sorts of things around the house. Whether you're just using it for yourself in the bedroom or for a group of you that are sitting around having dinner together. Whatever the situation is where you want to keep a lot of people cool or cool a larger space, then this is a fan to go for. And it also works as a desk fan just to keep yourself cool when you're sitting at the desk. Very popular, especially in the last year or so, has become using it for home exercise. So whether you're doing some sort of vigorous HIIT training, yoga, Pilates, or weights, or whatever it is your thing. Saw someone on a video online doing it on their indoor bike. This is a great fan for keeping cool whilst you're exercising. So looking after the fan longer term, because this is the sort of fan that should last you a very, very long time. It's using the DC motor, and that's the key to the very, very low noise level, but also the longevity of this fan as well. They've got a longer running life, and the quality of the fan motor that we put in here is exceptional. So we would expect you to have this for many years to come. So how do you get the best out of it, and how do you look after it? The key is to try and keep it clean, because fans pull a lot of air through and the dirt is going to start to build up. So I'll just turn the fan off. So you notice again just 2 presses on the control panel there. One to wake it up, because I hadn't used the control panel for a little while, and then one just to confirm the action. So most important thing, unplug it. Never go inside an electrical product without doing so. Now, it is very, very simple. On the back of the fan, and if we use the connections here for the lever handle as our guide, just underneath there, there's a couple of Phillips screws, and that's what we're going to be looking for. Okay. Lay it down flat like this, much better than doing it standing up, because if I drop the screws, all that's going to happen is that they'll just go straight through the fan and just land on the table. So that's by far and away the safest way of doing it, and it doesn't matter if I miss the screws when they come loose. So a couple of Phillips screws. There we go. One done. Here's the other, out he comes. Now, just where I did that, just to the side, to the right of that, there's a little lug. I'm just going to take that lug and just give it a squeeze. This fan's fairly new, so it's a little bit stiffer, but what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to separate the join line here and just ease it out, and that's how the front section is going to come off. There's another one just to the left by here. Just going to give it a squeeze, and that, giving that a push, has eased that off a bit further. But rather than force it, there's a couple of lugs just at the bottom, so just going to reach around and pop that one there, and that's enough. There is another one around the bottom there, but on this occasion it just popped off without it. So that brings the front funnel off, and you can clean inside there as required. Now we've got the fan blade, we've got a safety nut on the front there. On a fan, these are counterintuitive, so it's not lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. They will go off in the opposite direction. There is a little indicator on the front so that it will tell you that. They always go in the opposite direction so that the fan blade doesn't come off when it's spinning around. So once that's off, the fan blade can be removed. You can now clean the fan blade and around the fan motor. This is electrics here, don't forget, so nothing wet around here please, just a dry wipe in order to get all of that clean. And the fan blade, if you are going to use a wet wipe or something on the fan blade, then make sure it's 100% dry before you pop it back on please. But you've now got easy access to all the parts of it, and you'll be able to give it a good clean and keep it looking like new. Then once you've done that, just reverse the process, pop it back on, remembering you're going to be doing things in the opposite direction. And then when it comes to putting the cover back on, the clue is our logo on the front panel there, that should be level and it should be the right way up. But on this one it is also fairly easy to put them back on because there's little ridges there, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm looking to line those ridges up, and then if I can line those ridges up, then everything else will go back into place very, very easily. And all that remains now is to pop those two screws back in, and then the fan is all back together. So that's everything there is to know about the 1056 fan and how to look after it. I hope you found that useful. If you've got any questions that we haven't covered within this video, then please do reach out to us in the normal way. But for now, thank you very much for watching and have a good day. Goodbye.